What's up, guys? Welcome to Everything Money Live 24 up our 24/7 channel. Hey Steve, how's it going? So Steel Horse asks, are you still parking cash in T-bills? My cash is in T-bills. I own 21 or so companies. 18 I can discuss because they're over our $2 billion market cap. And I'm hoping that stocks fall further, because the market's been very strong. And of course, the positions have gone up quite a bit. So it's making it harder to purchase shares at desirable prices. And that's something that I don't mind waiting for. So, first I'm going to start off with McDonald's. Guys, McDonald's just, let me see if I can get the McDonald's up here because I want to show you guys. McDonald's is down 5.5%. Yesterday at one point, it was down 10% after hours. Why? E. coli. I went to McDonald's this morning. I had a sausage burrito. I had a large Diet Coke light ice. And hopefully I do not get E. coli. But if I do get E. coli, McDonald's, I will gladly settle the lawsuit for my lifetime McDonald's for free. So let me know when your lawyers can handle that. So one of the best things that can happen to an investor is when a company they love drops in price for a temporary issue. Guys, E. coli is a temporary issue. If you remember back, Chipotle had their E. coli scare 7, 8, 9 years ago. And let's go look at Chipotle stock. Let's see how that's fared since. Let's go 10 years. I don't even think we remember it did a big split. But yeah, look at this. It got as low as $5.30 from a peak of $15 or so, and is now at $58. So if you find a good company with a temporary problem, that is the absolute best situation for an investor. And I want everybody to remember that because these things don't drag companies down forever, most times. Obviously, there are issues that might be the tip of the iceberg, but it seems one person's died from this, unfortunately. 50 people have reported sickness, so this kind of stinks. But let's see, McDonald's to buy. I don't even know if they're back. Starbucks is back in business, up again. Dalton's in the house. Junkin Miller's shorting T-bonds heavily. Yeah, maybe he is. But either way, guys, we have, I don't know what else to say about McDonald's besides it's a temporary problem in my opinion. I don't know what's going to have to happen. Even if half the stores get affected, are you telling me that McDonald's is not going to stop this as soon as they can? I'm sure there are people at McDonald's right now working on this problem, trying to figure out the fastest way to get the E. coli gone, find the culprit and move on from it. All right. So yeah, any questions on McDonald's? Any comments on McDonald's? Any of these comments would be greatly appreciated. Let's see here. Why can't I? Where is I want to see what's going on with this. So Brad brings up a good point. If the S&P is expected to return 3% in the next decade, guys, I actually think it's going to be worse than that. I actually think it's going to be worse than 3%. But of course, some people think I'm a negative Nelly. There's a lot of, remember one thing, you can still make a lot of money dollar cost averaging. So that's what the main topic of this live stream is about. When markets at such highs, what do you do from here? Well, I think there's twofold strategy. One is, especially if you're a member of our community with our retirement calculator. Let me pull up our retirement calculator. I look at retirement calculator all the time. And the reason this is such a useful tool is you put in all your data here and you figure out, am I on my path to retirement? Make conservative assumptions on your analyzed returns, 7 or 8%. Make conservative assumptions here because I do agree with Morgan Housel in his book, Psychology of Money. He says, make conservative assumptions on your investment returns, make conservative assumptions on your spending, like you might spend more than you want to. If you're hitting these goals with your dollar cost averaging, That's your first goal. Over a long period of time, even if you buy at peaks, if you dollar cost average, I did this recently in a video. If you bought the NASDAQ and the S&P at the peak of the 2000 bubble, keep in mind, the NASDAQ fell 83% from peak to bottom in that bubble. That's incredible. In 2009, the S&P was lower than the bottom of the market of 2003. If you dollar cost average all along the way, you'd have made a 10.5% return on the S&P 500 and a 13.5% return on the NASDAQ. Now, keep in mind, it's taking us to today, which is very high market value. But the point is, if you dollar cost average, you will get the market return over long periods of time. So on your money that you need for retirement, my opinion is, and obviously everybody's situation is different, but my opinion is you dollar cost average. Guys, I talk about this all the time. I love buying individual stocks, but there'll be a time when I have SPY, QQQ, and SCHD as part of my portfolio. Why? Because I don't need to make 15, 20% returns for me to live the rest of my life. In fact, when I do my retirement calculator here, you know what I put in for my returns? 6 to 8%. Guys, I've been out of the market for how long, and my net worth goes up by more than 6 or 8% a year because of my businesses in real estate. So you look at this saying, I'm even making this conservative return. Guys, by the way, my real estate does 15 to 20% returns. My businesses are 20% plus. So I look at this going, that's why I'm okay being a little more patient on buying stocks. For you, when you dollar cost average, if you take a portion of your money to buy individual stocks or other investments, you need to be pickier on those. Why? Because you're already dollar cost averaging at 7 or 8% minimum. So just let yourself ride that one out. Where do you park your money? Cash isn't a bad idea. Why? 90-day treasuries pay 4.2%. Last year, they were paying 5.5% at one point. I look at this saying, if you can park cash for 4 to 5%, what's wrong with that? Now, I'm not telling you to do that with your retirement money. Don't do that with your retirement money. You have to sit there and make sure that you're able to hit your retirement goals based on a long-term average. And obviously, it depends how far you are from retirement. But our average viewer is 25 to 45 years old. What percentage of our viewers are 25 to 45? Yeah, we'll get that number. That doesn't mean if you're younger than 25 or older than 45, this doesn't apply. It still applies, especially the younger you are. And if you're older and you're closer to retirement, you should probably adjust things a little bit to be ready because you have to sit there and factor where we are with market values. And let me pull that up real quick.
All right, here it is, Paul.
Okay, are you on the microphone?
Yep, I am on the microphone.
Go ahead.
All right, so I'll just give you the last 90-day look. It doesn't change too much, but we have 25% of our viewers are between 25 and 34.
Yep.
And 30% are between the ages of 35 and 44.
So 55% are between 25 and 45. That means 45% are outside of that range, which is still a big chunk of people.
Yeah, 20% is 45 to 54.
Okay, so you have decades till retirement. Make sure you're hitting those goals in retirement calculator, and then start worrying about the cash you want to put I always tell people, unless you're really confident in yourself, you shouldn't be putting your retirement money in individual stocks, in my opinion. That should be a separate account that you have as the extra money, hit your goals, and then start dabbling in individual stocks. That's my opinion here. I don't know if anybody here does that. Hang on one second. Does that make sense, everybody here? So in theory, by dollar cost averaging, the S&P 500 will always beat out by single digits. No, because not necessarily. If you dollar cost average, you should match the market essentially over long periods of time. I don't know what the exact, because remember, at that peak, when you started dollar cost averaging about 10.5% of the S&P 500, the peak versus the trough had different return levels. So you definitely beat this one, but you didn't beat this one. But overall, you got what the market did on average. That's the key there. When you dollar cost average, you're essentially going to match the market. Now, the way I believe in beating the market is you're dollar cost averaging into QQQ, because QQQ, depending on when you buy it, should outperform the markets because it tends to have higher growth companies with higher rates of invested capital and allows you to get more of the growth portion of the stock market. So that's my opinion. And of course, like you said, Brad, in theory. Real Nick said, I have majority of my money in mutual funds. Hey, Nick, can I ask you a question? Why mutual funds? Why not low-cost ETFs? Because mutual funds are going to have fees. They're probably not going to outperform. Why not just low-cost ETFs? Hey, Manuel, how you doing? How you guys doing? And my Roth IRA is stock picks. Like I said, my opinion is as long as your goals are being hit, extra money, if you want to buy individual stock picks, is a great idea. And by the way, you can play individual ETFs based on your ideas. Like I look at QQQ thinking, like for me personally, because of my situation, I'm not going to dollar cost average into QQQ until the valuations are much lower. That's just my opinion because of my situation. I don't need a dollar cost average today into it. Oh, great job, Steel Horse. What's QQQM? Oh, poop, Real Nick. Go make us think about this, Nick. My 401k only allows mutual funds. Go make us think about that. Oh, look at this. Brian Darr. I'm 62, been investing since 91. Had no option early on, but retirement accounts and mutual funds. In 1996, I rolled over my 403b to self-directed. That's awesome. Great job, Brian. Oil mutual funds. What the heck is that? Oil mutual funds. Jeez, oh, Pete. I'm sorry, guys. Stupid headaches here. Small cap ETF, interest rate cuts can grow these. Listen, small caps have been underperforming, and the same thing happened in the early 2000s. Small caps outperformed when the market fell, the large cap. Let's pull up my stock market to GDP ratio. Can you take away my screen here real quick? Because I want to pull up my, let me know when it's gone.
Just go to 2.
Okay, so what's 2, by the way? Oh, great. Mo diggity. All right, go back to me. So guys, I've been doing this video on this channel quite a bit lately, this Excel sheet, because of where we are on valuations. And the thing that I love here is going and looking at the data in the past, where we've stood at in history. When we're 30%, remember, this does not include any dividends, but the average 10-year rolling return is 6.9%. Makes sense. You had dividends in there, a few percentage points in history, and it makes about 10%, 9 to 10%. When you're 30% undervalued or more, 11.1. Between 0 and 30, 9.5. Between between 0 and 30% overvalued, 2.3, 30% or over, 0, 40 and 50% overvalued, negative returns. We're at 115% overvalued. I just look at this. I just look at this. I think to myself, that's why I think 3% who knows what happens, guys? Remember, if GDP skyrockets, that's going to change the game because GDP has skyrocketed. Look at GDP here, 29 trillion. In 2022, the start of 2022 is 24 trillion. Now, that's only what? Almost 3 years ago? 3 years before that, it was 22 trillion. I look at this going, if we have this GDP growth because of inflation, I look at this and think, this could be okay or not be as bad. We don't know the future. And the one thing that I've realized is the future is impossible to guess. That's why I like investing the way I invest, which is finding good companies at great prices, great companies at great prices. The difference is a great price for Apple is different than a great price for Sprouts Farmers Market, right? Because Apple is a huge company. They're less likely to go out of business. A lot of things are less likely to happen with Apple. They've got a moat that's absolutely huge. I look at this and I think to myself, okay, what would make it different this time? We talked about that in a live stream 2 weeks ago or a month ago. I don't remember which one it was, but I look at this saying, okay, you can still make money with sideways market movement if you're disciplined. by dollar cost averaging every single month. And that's what's wonderful about your 401k and IRAs. That money is going to sit there for a lot of time. You can't even touch it anyhow, so who cares? That's the best part about those companies, about those investment accounts. So take it for a spin. Let it dollar cost average. And you just know, you've got to think to yourself, every time you invest $1, that 20, 30, 40 years from now, all you're thinking to yourself is it's going to be worth this. Don't think of it as it's $1 today. It might be 50 cents in 3 years. It might be, no, just think about it as I put $1 in today. If it compounds at 7.5% return for 30 years, it's going to be, so 7.5% for 30 years. Every dollar you save today is $9 in 30 years. That's the way you need to think. That's the way you have to think. Like I always tell people, I'm going to be a billionaire someday. So you know what I think in my head right now? I'm a billionaire. That might sound ridiculous, but I really believe that. So in my mindset, I'm like, well, I'm going to get there. Maybe it happens in my 60s, maybe my 70s. Either way, it's like, okay. And that might sound like an extreme comment, but I think I want everybody to feel that way. When you sit there and say you need 5 million in retirement, whatever the number is, just say if you're on the path to that, then you're worth 5 million in your head. Just dollar cost average, and you'll get there. And on top of that, if you can buy a piece of real estate, if you can buy some individual stocks, if you can buy real estate regularly, you're going to probably do better than that. That's the key there. That's the big key. Does that make sense, everybody? Brad wants to understand options. My toxic trait thinks I can do it with zero training. Options are great. And that's why Dalton's so good in our community. I love selling cash secured puts and covered calls. And we'll probably do more about that here as time goes on, but I probably won't take it up on here. Oh, Steelhorse, QQQ, but cheaper fees is QQM. QQQ's fees are so low. They're like 0.06%. Oh, thanks very much, Rocket Mike. I appreciate that. And by the way, guys.
He joined on the last live stream.
Oh, that's right. You were the one that joined. We were one of the ones that joined on the last live stream. We got a few purchases then. And guys, remember, our community is awesome. We have so many great tools. These tools here, I rave about. And I use these tools every single day. Real estate calculator. I brag about this. $22.5 million property was purchased recently using that. $7.5 million currently in contract as that. I'm in contract on a $2.25 million lake house because of this. And I just yesterday looked at a $4.1 million lake house that I'm making offer on. I don't mean this to be cocky. This is not a humble brag. This is me saying these are tools that I use every single day. My guys use this every single day. My head of acquisitions, Andrew, sits upstairs and uses real estate calculator. Stock Analyzer. You guys know I'm obsessed with Stock Analyzer. You guys are obsessed with Stock Analyzer. So if you guys want to try it out, $7 for 7 days to try it out. It will absolutely help you make better decisions and sleep better at night. Can you guys put the link in there? It's everythingmoney.com/sign up.
Yeah, it's pinned at the top.
Great.
Of the comments.
Oh yeah, Tesla earnings after the bell. We're going to be doing a earnings reaction here.
Yep, 4:00. Were you blown away by that stat of over 1,500 stocks?
1,592 stocks were put into Stock Analyzer by our users in the last month.
Insane.
Listen, that's the whole point of it. And we don't even have 100,000 users yet. You know what I mean? Imagine when it's 100,000 users, it'll be actually it won't grow up. It won't grow that much more because there are only so many stocks in the universe. But it'll be a lot more stocks, and people can engage and talk about it. That's what's great about it. Just sold my business property using the real estate calculator. That's interesting, Ash. I appreciate that. I thought he called his members tools. Maybe I did, Natalie. So straitjacket, depending on election results, GDP could pump even further. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I do think there are things that presidents and Congress can do to stifle and help, but I look at both sides of the party now, and they're all borrowing from tomorrow to pay for today, and that's going to just overall in the long term just stifle GDP growth.
Look at Ash's.
What was that?
Ash's.
Yeah, I saw that. I mentioned that. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, did the sale go well? Good question. Did the sale go well? I really appreciate that, Mike, by the way, about that comment about the community investing tools being awesome. Enphase down 17%. Sam Krakowski. Guys, Sam and I have met recently. Sam went to my high school, but he was obviously a lot younger than me. I don't think, he was not even alive when I graduated my high school. That's weird to say nowadays. But Sam's a smart guy, and we might be talking to him about becoming a commenter in the EM community. Yeah, Texas is opening a stock exchange. I have zero thoughts on it. International companies. So, Manuel, here's a great question. What do you think about diversifying in international companies? Theoretically, the U.S. being one of the strongest economies in the world has less growth potential than international. So theoretically, international companies should do a lot better if they're able to sell. Now, the thing is, U.S. companies the world is becoming a lot smaller from the standpoint of it's not hard for Apple to sell to other countries. Look at Ferrari. Ferrari's number one growth market is Africa. You know what I mean? It's not hard. It's just over the water for them. So you wonder to yourself, is it going to be a lot of foreign companies making big gains, which is theoretically true, or is it going to be a lot of U.S. companies getting better because they can sell internationally? Also true. Like Google's not going to stop selling internationally because they're based in the U.S. Get 30% more than my real estate. Oh my God. That is awesome, Ash. Ash, I have a story for you in that one. How much money was that? Tell me what 30% more meant. Give me the actual dollars. I want to hear the actual dollars. Tell me exactly how much money 30% more was. Was it 100,000? Was it 200,000? What was the exact amount? Wow, that's incredible, Ash. That is incredible. Good for you. I'm really happy for you. Oh, that's great. Thank you very much, Jay Talleyrand. Love the work you do, Paul. I've traveled all over the world using the software and viewing the great content you put out. Keep up the great work. That's my goal. You know, it's funny. I was joking with my brother yesterday. I was talking to him on the phone. And, you know, we have lots of business upstairs, and I'm very active. I just said to him at one point, I'm like, just spin me off everything money. You guys keep the rest of it, and I'll just handle everything money. Obviously, he said no to that. Oh, Frank Summers. Oh, excellent. Wow, Philippine stock market's flat since 2013. Hey, look at Japan stock market. How has it gone since 1989? That's incredible. Ash, I want to hear these numbers, man. What's the money you got? Guys, I want to tell you guys a story about, and I'm not trying to take a dump on real estate agents. I have 2 real estate agents that I work with in Texas and Georgia that I love. They're great people. Tim's, not engaged. Tim's related to a real estate agent. One of my stepson's real. At the end of the day, they want to get a sale. So they want to price aggressively. When I was a senior in high school, my dad had a house. We lived in a house in a lake. And he brought a real estate agent in and said, what should we sell his house for? And she said 360. And of course, I was a cocky 17-year-old. I go, no way. It's worth way more than 360. I said, Dad, just give me, I think I said like a month to try to sell this. We sold it 2 weeks later. I did the showings. I did 2 showings. We sold it for 380 without a commission to any realtor. Yeah, I put a sign on the lakeside because our neighborhood, I was at the very end of a cul-de-sac. Nobody's going to see us. I put a sign on the lakeside, got 2 phone calls. I still remember the lady name who bought it. And we sold it for 380 without, so 360 minus negotiation would have been like 350 minus commission of 7%. Dad would have net out 350, call it 330. But instead we got $50,000 more because of that. 360 is an interesting. Oh, wow. Incredible. Wait, what? Is this true? Or is this a joke?
I believe him.
No way.
What?
No way. What do you mean you believe him? Did you see it?
30. Well, no, but he said 30%.
No, I think.
No. Next comment.
Oh,
I gotta go find it.
Wait a second. Hodo Prime. Is that true or are you being funny?
Send us the clip.
Wow.
Send us a clip. We got to see that.
Jeremy, I'm in my 20s, and is it a good plan to place a percentage of my portfolio in China? Wait, they get back to before COVID. I think China has potential great opportunities. China is also very scary because of a lot of geopolitical risks. Like any investment, I like diversifying. I have Alibaba. Doesn't mean you should buy Alibaba. I have it as it's small enough part of my portfolio that it's a large enough part of my portfolio that matters, but it's small enough where it went to zero. I wouldn't affect me. Oh my God. I didn't get paid. Can somebody show us the video?
Show us.
Somebody just send like the link to the video. What's the name of the video? We gotta. Paul said crypto sucks or something. No freaking way. Okay, let me pull up HBO Max, guys. Please hold.
Actually, do you want to give Nick your login and pull it up right on?
I don't even know my login, but let me see if I can get it. Okay, so crypto. What's it called? Is it called the Bitcoin Mystery? Is it Money Electric, the Bitcoin Mystery? Is that what it is? Yeah, but let me see. I'm pressing play now.
CNN special event 2 weeks before election day.
Why are you guys giving me an ad?
Faces voters and takes their pressing questions.
I'm going to listen to this.
Anderson Cooper.
Can somebody tell us?
A CNN presidential town hall. Kamala Harris tonight at 9 Eastern on CNN.
Let's see what HBO has to say. Hang on a second. I do not do any futures investing. He said, yes, that's the one.
So every day, you have nonstop Bitcoin. Who cares about Bitcoin?
Who cares?
I could care less what Bitcoin trades for, how it trades, why it trades, who trades it. If you're stupid enough to buy it, you'll pay the price for it one day.
So the funny thing is,
Bitcoin is a fucking scam. Bitcoin.
oh my God, it is my voice. That's incredible. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's incredible. Oh, I gotta brag.
Hey, Connor. Is Connor getting the first text?
Is Connor getting the first text
Oh
call?
no. My voice was used in an HBO crypto documentary. Oh, my family's not going to care at all, and I'm going to love it. Oh my God, that is it. That's awesome. Shouldn't they have like reached out to us and at least gotten like an okay for that?
I would think so. Well, I don't know if it's public domain. I don't know. Being on YouTube.
Oh my God. It's the start. That is awesome. That is so great. I have arrived. That's incredible. You're right, Real Nick. That's incredible. Literally, that's the line. That's the line that hit. Oh my God, this is awesome. I've made it. I don't know why that makes me so happy.
Pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Big time money if you pursue that. Now they can have it. I'm just going to go brag about it to everybody in the world. I got to figure out exactly what time it happens. Oh my God, Brad, that's funny because my wife thinks I'm Larry David. It might be AI, Paul. I noticed your voice at 2 times speed. Sounds like Seinfeld's Yankees boss. Yeah, by the way, Gene, I really don't care. That's awesome. I love how they picked crypto as a fucking scam by me. That's awesome. Did you guys watch the whole video? Is there any other part of it that references me or just, that's incredible. Buy the dip. By the way, I think it's a little misleading what they did there. They had Jamie Dimon's comments when it said Bitcoin was at 23 cents in 2010. That's not when he said it. He said it like in the last few years. He didn't say it in 2010, but either way. All right, well, now that I'm slightly aroused from my recent fame here. So what other questions you guys got? Yeah, that was awesome. So Warren Buffett's got a huge cash position. And I get the comment, I always tell people, guys, here's what I'll say. One, I don't think Warren Buffett's goal is to buy companies that are going to insanely outperform the market. I think his goal, because remember one thing, he uses leverage. How does he use leverage? He has float from insurance companies. What float is when you pay your insurance premium, every dollar you pay to your insurance company, they expect to pay out at some point down the road. 100% of the money. So their goal is to invest that money while they have it into other investments to make a spread. That's essentially using debt. And Warren Buffett's goal is to use 0% debt or a profitable debt by having a profitable underwriting, which means if you pay out $1,000 to them, even though they expect to pay out $1,000 in the future, if they can pay out $980, that's a profitable underwriting. And their goal is to take that $1,000 and reinvest it. Because if it takes 10 years to pay out that 1,000, they have 10 years of an interest-free loan. And in a lot of cases, they have 10 years of being able to make money off it and reinvest it. So, my wife, oh no, Zach. My son-in-law said, what kind of royalty does that give you? $0. So, yeah, free. That's what I should do. Listen, just give me HBO Max for free, please. Like, we should reach out to them and say, hey, listen, use my voice, which is awesome, but can I have HBO Max for free? And then watch them go in there and delete it. Anyhow, so when Warren Buffett, since he's so large, his goal is to find reasonably priced investments in companies that are going to stand the test of time. The fact that he's sitting on so much cash, and even Munger, before he passed away, said this is the hardest market he's ever been involved with. And he was 99 years old. He'd seen 100 years of markets. He said this is the hardest one he's ever been involved with. To me, that's an indication of where we are as a market. Does that mean that you should be mimicking Warren Buffett? No, I don't think so, because I don't think Charlie Munger's even said, guys, apart from a few of our investments, the vast majority have done okay. Have done about what the market should do. But they can use leverage by taking the cash from the float to reinvest. That's their big benefit. But $280 billion in cash, that should tell people something. Because guess what? He could deploy it tomorrow if the Max 7 were reasonably priced, he could deploy it to them because they have a total of $15 trillion, or whatever the number is in value. He could deploy $200 billion like that. But he doesn't for a reason. That thing to me is indicative of where we stand. Oh yeah, Brad, thanks very much. I love how the channel's growing too. I really do. So I hope everybody understands that. My son-in-law just said, should ask at least for an executive producer status. Let's go. I don't look at Warren Buffett's investments. How do I put this? Does it feel good when Warren Buffett likes an investment I like? Yes. It feels good. Feels great. But I also have to keep in perspective, just like you need to keep in perspective my goals when I invest. When you hear me talk about a company that I like, I'm not trying to beat the market by 10% a year. I'm hoping to find companies that I can buy and make 11 to 13% a year on, because I need to deploy them into big companies. Because I don't want to be the guy who has to like sit there and look for special situations and watch them closely. I just want to buy a good company. Like I have 21 companies or whatever. I haven't looked at them in a long while. Just the other day, Dalton told me we're up 90% on American Express. I was like, son of a gun. I didn't even know that. I thought American Express was like at 180 or 190 a share. It's like 290. I don't care. That's my way of viewing it, because I look at it going, American Express will be around for a very, 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 very long time. And it'll probably be a lot more valuable in the next 30 years than it is today. That's my goal. Saul, what's up, man? Crashing Bunch. I love the content. Thank you very much. I'm worried about inflation. Buy real estate. I wouldn't worry about inflation. Well, let me ask you this question, Crashing Bunch. Why are you worried about inflation? Let's first get into that. What's your worry about inflation? Because I want to understand what your exact worry is so we can talk about it. It could be a grounded assessment, and it could be ungrounded. Would you buy a property that would create negative cash flow? Every investment's the present value of all future cash flows. Negative cash flows can be offset by a lot of gains down the road. Almost every single piece of real estate I buy has negative cash flow day one because I'm putting so much money into them. Now, from an operating cash flow perspective, I bought properties that have an operating cash flow loss to start. Of course, I bought properties that were 30% full, 25, 40% full. Would I buy a property that I could not renovate immediately to increase the cash flow? Probably not. But remember, if you're buying a property that's losing $300 a month, but you think it's going to appreciate at $800 a month at some point in the future, you just got to put it in real estate calculator and see what your value is today. Absolutely. Absolutely. Could you react to Evolution Ab? What's Evolution Ab? I don't even know what they are. Oh, yeah, Walgreens. And Walgreens was one I really got lucky on. Super lucky. Pure luck on that one. Once I started to realize I wanted top quality businesses, I was like, yeah, Walgreens is not it. Not it. So, yeah. So, in case you guys are new to the live stream, I have my voice has been used on HBO. I already forget the name of it. What was the name of it?
Money Electric.
Money Electric, the Bitcoin mystery. Money Electric. I'm in the opening of it right after Jamie Dimon talks the second time. And I'm saying crypto is a fucking scam. That's great. Can we expect DJT to skyrocket if Trump wins? Probably. Who knows?
On your LinkedIn now?
I will. Yeah, you're right. HBO documentary. What's it called? I should say contributor. HBO documentary contributor. SMCI. I don't think I really have. Oh, gold mines. I own I own GDX and GDXJ. Don't buy just because I do, because I can't. I'd rather buy the miners who are going to make money off that. Yeah. So crashing bunch. I get this. I'm worried about inflation because of rising U.S. debt pile. I agree. But why does that worry you? What's the fear that happens with this? What's the fear that happens with this? Like, yes, that is a concern, but it's kind of like, you told me like you're worried about eating healthy or eating junk food. Well, why are you worried about it? Well, if I eat junk food, then what? You get sick. What is this? What's the thing that's causing it? Yeah, you're right. This is definitely something here. Historically, civilizations pay off their debt by inflating the currency. I don't know if that's right for history. I haven't looked in that, but it makes sense. This is exactly why people would inflate their debt. They would inflate their debt to decrease the real value of their debt. They would inflate their currency, devalue their currency, inflate prices to decrease the real value of the debt. So what it means is, when you buy a house, you borrow $300,000. If tomorrow the cost of living doubled, guess what your mortgage on your house is? It's still $300,000. You're still paying yesterday's dollars in terms of today's mortgage rate. That's the thing, and today's mortgage value. Sorry, using today's dollars. You're paying yesterday's mortgage with today's dollars. So if everything doubled tomorrow and your income doubled because of inflation, yes, you've made no real, progress, but your mortgage is now half the cost it was before in terms of real dollars. And that's a benefit. And the US government, don't think for a second, doesn't know that. What are your thoughts on where a company like Tesla will end up? That's for Dalton. Thank you, Sam. Yeah, it's DJT skyrockets. DJT doesn't do anything. We only have like $3 million in revenue. Everything money, I think, has more than they don't. We don't have more than $3 million in revenue. But the point is, we will very shortly. It's like DJT. What a scam.
2.68 million in revenue.
Sick.
With a 5.87 billion market cap.
What's the price at now? I think at one point it got to like 60 or 70. 35?
Yeah, all-time high was 175.
175 when?
I think when it IPO'd, October 22 of 21. And then the 52-week high is 79.
Okay, that makes
more sense. And then the 52-week low is 1175.
Jim asked, Paul, do you think the U.S. government will create Bitcoins, or do you mean pay off national debt? I don't know. And to the sky. I think we looked at Etsy recently, and I don't disagree with you. I think it's interesting. Oh, Evolution, Tiago, I thought you meant there was a channel, like react to a channel. I haven't watched that video yet, Tim, because I was on the phone a lot yesterday. I don't know if they're big enough yet, because Tiago, we only do $2 billion plus market caps, but I'd have to look at that. Wow.
This is a question to ask people, though.
What's that?
If they've seen that video.
Which video? Oh, guys.
Yeah. Okay. So Clear Value Tax. I don't know if you guys know that channel. That's the first question to answer. Have you guys ever watched a video from Clear Value Tax? And if so, did you see their latest video series on the Great Melt Up? Or I should say Ken's series on the Great Melt Up.
Yeah. I've not watched them. You know, his thumbs are very boring, which is kind of interesting because he's really changed. Like his thumbs are not what people would say the thumbs should be.
And you've never watched any of his videos.
Never.
I've only shown you like, hey, here's what his channel looks like. Here's what his thumbs look like.
Yeah.
Which
Well, Tim sent me one of his videos yesterday. I haven't watched it yet.
He's got a clear camera. It's just him talking, minimal B-roll, but he's saying a lot of the things that you've been saying over the past couple of years.
Yeah. Gene Ocean, any chance of EM going public? I hope not. You know, I was telling my wife last night, we were talking about something. I said, you know, I should just sell shares in myself. I should just sit there and say, here's the deal. Here's what I'm worth. Here are my business interests. Here's my real estate interests. Here's everything. Let me sell shares in myself because, and the only reason I said that was because I mean, the desire of amassing major wealth down the road is decreasing in me like every single year, every single month. So instead, I just want to enjoy life now too. So I thought I might as well, do that now. But either way, I haven't watched that particular video. Oh, he likes Clear Value. Mr. Simp likes Clear Value. That's great. But Gene Ocean, just to answer your question, I do plan on bringing investors on the EM, the software side, private equity at some point. But that'll be with somebody who is who's able to help us grow it, not just to get a check. And that'll probably be 5 years down the road, maybe 10. Or maybe I'd never do it. Maybe I go, I don't care to. One other question. I'm curious, what's the maximum percentage of your portfolio to put in one stock? So, good question. My initial maximum percentage is probably 3 to 5%. But 20 or 30 years from now, some stock is going to be 15 to 20% of my portfolio after growth. Right? This is why mutual funds have a hard time outperforming. They're restricted by law to maxing out a position size of 5%. So you can't let your winners run. You can't sit there and if you can't have a concentrated portfolio where a winner could go out there and become 20% of the portfolio. But at some point I will have position sizes that are, 5 to 20% of my portfolio, hopefully because they've done so well. Oh, great, Alma. I appreciate that. Minority Mindset's another channel which also says the same thing about DCA. Yeah, DCA is a very common theme, but I wanted to break down the numbers to show you, like, it blew my mind. When I did the present value of an annuity and the QQQ buying at the peak of 2000, when it fell 83% from there, would have still given you a 13.5% return today. That absolutely melted my brain. I was like, that's incredible. And it makes sense because the first 3 years it was falling, but the rest of the time it was growing and you put that money in there over and over and over again. That was the incredible part. Massively outperforming from the high. Bring EM to Shark Tank. Yeah. The problem is, I think who would be the ones to offer money on it? Probably Kevin O'Leary, and he's the last one I want to do business with. A good friend of mine, I was just texting him yesterday. He was on Shark Tank. He had the Sauce Moto. I don't know if you remember Sauce Moto.
We had him on the show.
We had him on the show. And he had a deal with Kevin O'Leary, and he said he's like, yeah, we didn't end up doing the deal. He's like, the terms were just not very good. And he couldn't get into it in detail, but he's like, the terms were just very one-sided. And they were already doing very well, so they didn't need to do a deal. Oh, wow. CVX2. That's awesome. Did really well in Meta. Now it's 47% of my portfolio. Let me ask you a question. How would you feel if Meta fell in half? And I'm not saying it will. I'm not saying it could. I'm not saying anything. It could fall in half. This is a lot of personal belief. 47% is a lot. For me personally, I'd probably be like, I personally believe, maybe take some money up, but it's really up to you. Maybe sell some aggressive covered calls on it to at least get some income on it. I don't know. Yeah, Sam, I know. You hear why he says that? So Kevin O'Leary is the king of, you have to understand, Tesla's not a car company, it's a software business. He actually says it's the data business. He's like, my son told me, Paul, Dad, you're looking at Tesla all wrong. It's a data business. I'm like, okay. How will the market react during elections? I have no idea. Nor do I care. How it reacts is how it reacts. Let me ask you this question. How did it react in every election for the last 30 years? You probably don't even remember. because it really doesn't matter. I started investing since April this year, up 16%. So I just want to say thanks for the content. I've been watching. Awesome. Tiago, I appreciate that. Don't watch your returns year to year. Dollar cost average into your ETFs. If you take a portion of your money for individual stocks, that's awesome, but make sure you're hitting your goals. Use retirement calculator. You've got to use this, especially at your age. Put your numbers in here. 21, what do you want to retire? Current savings, what you plan on saving, how much you're going to increase that saving by. It's absolutely imperative that you do that, because you need to understand, are you on the right path? Brad, Hans, still struggling to find where to park unused cash. When do you need the cash? What's wrong with 90-day treasuries at 4.2% if you're waiting for a better time to buy and if you're hitting your other goals for your retirement?
Isn't there still like money market accounts and high yield savings that are giving you 4%?
I don't know. Probably.
There are some out there. I can't remember if it was Huntington or if it was Citizens Bank that had that.
Wow, Noah. My expected returns on Stock Analyzer and Stellantis are about 25%. That's incredible. Hi again, Paul. In your opinion, how much leverage is appropriate investing in real estate? Do you have any horror stories? I've been very fortunate, no leverage horror stories, because we go in and put a lot of money into the properties immediately and jack up the value. But we typically buy and we have 65% to 75% debt. Just depends on the kind of property. If we're going to go put tons of money into it and really increase the value, we put 75%. If we're not going to put as much, 65%. We're not playing the leverage game in pretty much anything we do. And with real estate, and by the way, with real estate, as long as you have a locked-in rate for a long period of time and can really increase the value, leverage is probably going to be okay for you. Noah, put the Stellantis in. The goal of this live stream wasn't necessarily to do that, and we only have 12 minutes left. But check out Stellantis in the community chat. Put it in the request channel so we can do it for exclusive content. Remember, guys, if you want that exclusive content, we only did 41 stocks in the last 30 days. But in our community, we did 1,592 stocks. Definitely worth it. I think nuclear. Oh, he deleted the question. Comment. Gotcha. HYSA accounts are at 4.3%, same as T-bills. What's my thought? Edgar, what are you doing? Write your message, hit enter, and be done with it.
What's your thought on the nuclear sector?
That's what I thought he said. I think nuclear is a lot safer than people think, and it's very, very efficient. I just think to answer a lot of our energy problems, nuclear energy is going to be very important. I know Bill Gates is big on it. It's a lot safer than people give it credit for. The people just think Chernobyl. I mean, it's incredible how much energy a nuclear reactor can create. Oh, Hans, you're funny. Oh, good. Glad you were cut to the stock. Thank you. Could you check Stellantis? That's good. Guys, I really love doing this. We're making much better videos now. We're starting to put a lot more data in the videos, stories, qualitative metrics of the companies, not just, analyzing the numbers. Because remember, it's all about looking at the story and the numbers. I really like what we're doing with it. We've had a lot of banger videos lately. Our real estate channel is going well. And of course, I'm not going to tell you what the real estate channel is. You're going to have to, YouTube has to suggest it to you on your own. But things are going well here. What's up, Glenn? What's up, Glenn? What's the market doing right now? I don't even know. Down. Yippee, finally down. I didn't know that was possible. I didn't know that was possible. Hello again. Are you all worried about stocks like Alibaba being ADRs? No. I've already called Crashing Bunch. I've already called Merrill Lynch, and they told me, Paul, the worst case scenario is the shares go to Hong Kong, and it just, if you want to liquidate, it just might take a few weeks to get the money back to the US. That's what Merrill Lynch has told me. But you have to do your own research on that, figure out what your bank is telling you. But Merrill Lynch told me, Paul, you'll get the shares. It just might take a little bit of time. The French have been doing nuclear for a long time. Hans, I have no take on gold. I just noticed the other day it was at 2,700. I had no idea. I have gold miners through GDX and GDXJ ETF because I thought to myself, gold probably has a lot of potential, and those miners are making money at like $800 to $1,000 per ounce in gold, so there's a lot of margin there. So I just bought that.
Silver's going up too.
Oh, is it? Yippee! Guys, do you guys see how little I pay attention to this stuff? I literally own investments, and I'm like, oh, what's going on with it? I don't care. I just buy good companies and wait for things to work out. And guess what? If we have a bad bear market, guess what's going to happen to my stocks? They're going to go down as well. And I'm hoping they are. I'm not going to be worried if American Express falls to 140. I'm going to be excited that American Express fell to 140. The French are never a good example. I thought the same thing, Gene. I thought the same thing when Hans said it. Oh, wow, Hans. Good work. Hodo Prime. Last question of the day. How'd you get so cute, Paul? Well, that's a very, very good question, Crashing Bunch. Call it good genes. It's funny. I look at pictures of myself when I was 30. Oh, boy. I have aged better with time. And I'm not saying that to be cocky, but when I was 30, I was like, oh, man. It was a rough go. It was a rough go. I ran into my, I was at the grocery store the other day and I ran into my hair transplant doctor. Yeah. I was like, he passed me. I go, nice hair. He laughed and he goes, yeah, I remember you. I was like, yeah. And yeah. I was like, I might want to do some more on the crown. He goes, make an appointment. Come on in. I was like, oh, thanks. Uncle Paul, when deciding to enter a real estate deal on a personal level, when does it make sense to do 50% versus 20%? Do you want to sleep at night? Better or worse? It doesn't matter. Lewis, it's all about, I do all my analysis based on 25% down payment. That doesn't mean I'm putting 25%, but I want to make sure I compare apples to apples. If it makes sense at 25% and I choose to put 35% down, I just know my IRR is going to be lower and I'm okay with that. I want to pick one. I always put everything based on 25% down payment, but what I put down from there is purely based on comfort level. That's it. And banks. A bank might sit there and say, hey, this property is more vacant because you're going to put more money into it when you want more down payment. Fine by me. So Hans, there's a joke when you look at Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. They say there's no such thing as ugly. It's just poor or rich. And it's funny because Jeff Bezos, have you seen videos of him back in the day? He was like hunched over and like nerdy. He'd be like talking like this. It's like, Bezos, what the hell is your problem? The Illuminati have not approached me yet, but I'm open to the meeting. I don't even know what that means. That's funny. Looked like a dork. Yeah, I was a big dork in my 20s. Big dork. So, what else is going on in the world of stocks? Let's see what is being searched by our community members. Celsius, Nvidia, Dollar General. Top gainers today, GE, Texas Instruments. Top losers, yeah, McDonald's. But McDonald's is off. Yesterday it was down 10% after hours. Now it's only down 4.7. Yes, I do, Charles. I sell calls and puts, sell covered calls, and I sell cash secured puts. And I have not bought puts as insurance lately because I have so much cash sitting. That's just my natural put. But in the future, when I'm 100% invested, and if I think things get too euphoric, I might buy really cheap out of the money puts as a hedge. It's costing me money, but I'm fine with that. Sam. They solved that problem. A lot of energy being needed, guys. I wonder when it's going to be where we're just building nuclear plants. And guys, we have plenty of, you know how much land we have in this country? You can verify this. Do the math. I did it. We can put everyone in this country, in the state of Texas, with 10,000 square feet of space. That's how much land we have in this country. Every single person in this country, 335 million people or 332 million people in the state of Texas with 10,000 square feet of space and still have the rest of the land to do nothing. You know that picture that Trump shows from 2020 about how he won the country because there's all these counties that were red, but they were not populated counties. There were like 4 people in them. We have plenty of land. We have plenty of land.
A lot of the big tech companies are starting to invest in that nuclear. I think I saw Google said they were going to invest in 6 of them.
Really?
Or something like that.
Good. Bill Gates is big on nuclear power.
One in Michigan back up that was on the lake?
I have no idea. But Bill Gates is very big on nuclear power. He's just like, yeah, it's extremely safe, it's extremely clean, and it's highly effective. Paul, let's open a restaurant. I would rather, there's no way I'm opening a restaurant. Oh, wow. So remember, Alejandro, first off, awesome work. I'm at 96% at Upstart using stock market value, stock calculator valuations. Remember, just because it goes down doesn't mean your process was wrong. I always have to repeat people. Just because the stock is up doesn't mean you were right. Just because the stock is down doesn't mean you were wrong. The examples I give is I made money on CCL. I made money on Walgreens. I was absolutely wrong on CCL and Walgreens, but I made money on them. That's the big thing. I got killed on an NVIDIA short. My guess is I will be somewhat right on NVIDIA. No, I'm pretty wrong on NVIDIA, but not to the point of either way. Yeah, it's probably a bad example because I'm probably going to end up being wrong on NVIDIA. If their revenue stays the same and they just grow at 10% a year, that's a very, very valuable company. Very valuable company. You guys have been watching too many Bush videos. BLM owns a lot of land west of the Mississippi. Black Lives Matter? Guys, we got 3 minutes. Not enough water in the West. Yeah, the Great Lakes area, they're going to do really well as fresh water becomes an issue in this world. The Great Lakes area, aka Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, Wisconsin, New York. I imagine there's going to be a lot of job growth there. Good comment, Gene Ocean. Be careful with UPST. It's a lender and analyzer is weird. Analyzer, if it's a bank, analyzer, stock analyzer tool does not work for it. Same with insurance. I shouldn't say it doesn't work. The inputs aren't the right inputs to look at. Stock analyzers for service businesses, manufacturing businesses that are not lenders and insurance companies and things that are balance sheet driven. Paul, I'm blaming you for my new Coke Zero addiction. You're welcome. You're welcome, Cedric. So yesterday I went to dinner with some friends and their kids were there and I'm having like pop and the kids are having this water and I'm like, don't you guys want Coke Zero to be funny? And the dad gives me, he's like, I told my kids I'd let them I'd let them have alcohol before I'd let them have caffeine. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I was just like, okay, get off your high horse. I said that to be funny, but I was being serious. Guys, 1.5 minutes left. Does anybody want to compliment me, revere me, want me to sign autographs for my new appearance in an HBO documentary? For those of you who haven't heard, I'm in an HBO, my voice is in an HBO documentary, Money Electric, the Bitcoin mystery. In the very opening minute or two, you hear me going, is it crypto? Bitcoin's a fucking scam or crypto's a fucking scam, something like that. Oh, I feel like I've made it. Oh, Pat, I hate to tell you, but it was an internet marketing company in high school. Bureau of Land Mass. Thank you. And then I had several failures after that, or at least one failure after that. Sexy shirt, Paul. Hey, you like this? It's available in our... Do we have a store? We have a store, right? What are you laughing about?
Yes, I'll put the link out right now.
What are you laughing at, kids?
I will tell you off air immediately.
Oh, okay, got it. No, I'm Crash. I'm from the Midwest. We say pop in the Midwest, but I did go to college in Michigan, but I was saying pop before I went to college there. Yeah, let's go Cavs. Yeah, Cedric, you're right.
That's the first game, right?
Yeah. Did you see LeBron and Bronny played last night? Yeah, that was cool. You're a real celebrity now, Paul. Lisa can't deny that. You're right, Cedric. I'm going to start just like, I should start doing? I should start like asking her to reach out to my publicist every time she asks me a question. Please forward all future questions to my publicist. 3/4 zip sweater equals rich man confirmed. Nancy Pelosi's buying silver stocks. Oh, name your first child after me? Paul's a great name. Are you asking me how old I am? I'm 43, if that's what you're asking. All right, guys, time's up. Thank you very much for your time. Go join the community. $7 for 7 days. It gives you all the tools you need, and you'll be grandfathered in for those tools for life. You won't be excluded in the future like we're doing the changes in the background. Who that names their kid Bronny? Oh, it's anyways. Yeah, it's spelled Bronny for like LeBron. All right, guys, thanks very much for your time. I love these live streams. See you in 2 weeks.